If I had my way, everything would be so nice. This world would be like Paris. No, it would be a paradise. No one would ever have to say, I'm gonna get my wish someday. All one would have to do is say, this is my order, if you may.
Well, welcome to another episode of The School Without Walls. I'm Dr. Anthony Hobbs, host and founder of this educational program. My guests today are Dr. Pamela Moore and Mrs. Tiki Winston. Now I have Dr. Moore with me, and Dr. Moore is a professor here at the University of Arkansas, Associate Dean of Global Engagement, Peace Corps, Prep Program, Director of Office of International Programs and Studies, School of Agriculture, Fishery, and Human Services here at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Glad to have you.
Thank you.
And we have talked prior to now about the various things you've been involved in since we last were here.
Yes.
So what we'll do today is, we have some young people here too.
Yes, that's right.
And give me their names, the young people that's going to be on program. I don't have their names.
Okay.
Do you have their names?
Yes, it's my understanding that we're doing two segments.
That is correct.
One segment with myself and Salonica Hunter and Alyssa Smith. Okay, these are two UAPB students. And then another segment with Mrs. Tiki Winston, Randy Thompson, and Ashlyn Carlton.
Very good.
Okay,
very
and
good.
all of these are students who are participating actively in our various international initiatives.
All right. So what we'll do with this segment of the program, we will proceed according to your outline of what you would like to say and explain to the general public.
Okay.
Go right ahead.
Okay, well, first of all, I'm very excited to announce a new initiative at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. It's called the Peace, Justice, and Sustainable Development Initiative. And you have a little booklet there. Now, I have to tell you that this is an inspiration, something I've wanted to do for many years, following a 2-year assignment in Nigeria when I was working on a democracy project.
Was that here at this university or another university?
Actually, I was living in the country. And,
living in Nigeria for 2 years.
Yes, and I was managing a democracy project on behalf of a consortium of historically black colleges and universities. And it really tested my understanding of what is development, what is leadership, and I came back to the U.S. really committed to making my own contribution to building the next generation of leaders. I'm from the Mississippi Delta, so I don't like it when people talk about what students in the Delta can or cannot do.
Oh, yes.
And this particular program takes into account roughly 20 years of experience living and working internationally and globally. And it's very unique in many respects. We call it the Peace, Justice, and Sustainable Development Initiative because, one, we need a world in which leaders are committed to peace and harmony. Justice, because here in the South and across the world, we're still dealing with issues of social and economic injustice. As a matter of fact, I was looking at an article online not too long ago, a story about the Afro-Brazilian community in Brazil and issues involving police brutality. And so,
it's there too,
so the whole Black Lives Matter movement is not just something relevant and peculiar to our context. And then last but not least, when we talk about sustainable development, we simply mean that people should live, they should be able to have jobs, they should be able to have a livelihood that doesn't put the ecology, the environment in danger. Mm-hmm. And so we want to, here at UAPB, we want to invest in young people and prepare them for global careers, whether they are in government, whether they are working with international development NGO, the Peace Corps, whether they are dealing with issues before the World Court. We want to prepare our students to engage globally.
Excellent, excellent. Mm-hmm. A wonderful presentation. You mentioned leadership. Mm-hmm. You know, there are different definitions of leadership. Mm-hmm. Would you care to, we have about 2 more minutes.
2 minutes,
side
okay.
Of the,
okay.
Of the,
let me talk a little bit about the components of the program. Mm-hmm. and how we think they relate to leadership.
Okay, then we have about a minute, I imagine, to do that. But you're coming back after the break to continue.
No, I think you'll meet with one of our students, so you can ask them about leadership.
Well,
but let me just briefly say.
All right ahead, go right ahead. You're in charge.
Let me just briefly say that this program has 3 components, and you can ask the students about the components. There's an education abroad component, where we're sending students to Ghana, to South Africa, to Mexico. Here are pictures of the different programs. And then there's something called Peace Corps Prep. And last but not least, within Peace Corps Prep, there is the 4-H program, which we're emphasizing. And all 3 of these program components enable students to receive guidance on courses to take, how to plan for careers, and how to live, work, and study abroad.
We're going to stop for break here now. You sure that the 2 students are going to have equal time with you? I was thinking you would come back and have some more to say.
Well, I can't come back if you. Okay, if you'd like for me to come back,
I would like for you to come back after break.
Okay.
And say whatever we need to hear from you, and of course we'll divide whatever time is left with the next 2 students. Those of you who have just joined us, I'm Dr. Anthony Hobbs, host and founder of this educational program called The School Without Walls. My guest right now is a student here at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. Her name is Salonica Hunter, right?
Yes, sir.
Glad to have you. And you are working with Dr. Pamela Moore and international programs.
Yes, sir.
So I understand there are 3 components of the international program. You might want to mention briefly the 3 components. We have about 3 minutes.
Okay. Well, I did the Gilman Scholarship, the Gilman International Scholarship, so that was the first step into being able to study abroad. I studied abroad in West Africa, and specifically in Ghana, and I did service learning, so service learning was another key element of the program. And because I was the first student to do the program,
it was Tell me about service learning. Define that. What is that?
Service learning is when you go out into the community that you are studying abroad at, and you do like community service projects. For example, I visited the orphanages And I also went to a basic school and talked to the students about life in America and what I thought of my adjustment when I was adapting to their environment, because I had to stay there for 30 days. So my program was a month.
And let me ask you this also about Ghana. Was there any contrast between Ghana and the USA? What did they have in common?
The things that I could say that I noticed were similar when I traveled there was, I guess, the style of music. It wasn't too drastically
different.
different.
Of music
Yes,
was
sir.
much different in the music?
It wasn't that much different from music that the culture, the young people listen to here. It was pretty much the same, but big things like food and the traditional dress, that was very different.
What are
very
some
different.
of the staple foods that you remember eating?
I tried jollof rice. It's like a spicy rice. It was pretty good. And there was another type of food. I want to say it was white, but I can't remember the name of it. But it was so much. There's so much to take in.
So you had to make adjustments for the food, I assume, right?
Yes, sir.
And you were there how long?
30 days.
30 days, okay. Continue.
What else? Well, I was also able to sit down in classrooms because I stayed on the campus at Valley View University in Oyibi, Ghana. And so I was there and I listened to their instructors and I sat in on their economics classes and stuff like that. And it was a really good learning experience.
Now, this was in secondary school or university?
The university.
University
Yes, sir.
school, I see. What about the comparison, similarities as far as behavior, conduct, and so forth on the university level?
The teaching style was really similar to the style that I'm used to here. There wasn't PowerPoints, but there was the way the teachers interacted with the students was pretty similar to how it is here at this university.
Okay. Now, is this one component? Are there two more? Are we just talking about all three of them right now?
All of them together, yes,
Okay,
sir.
well, let me ask you this. Where were you raised? What state are you from? What school?
I am from Monticello, Arkansas.
Oh, you're in Arkansas.
Yes, sir.
You
And so I
sound like a
graduated.
New York kid.
I graduated from Monticello
How
High
do you
School.
pick up this smooth accent?
I didn't know I had this.
I'm messing with you a little bit. But you do speak well,
Thank you.
and that is important.
Yes,
Yeah. Okay. We have 3 more minutes for you. Anything else you want to talk about? I believe we had another, this is sort of new to me. What about the Peace Corps?
Peace Corps,
Preparation. That's Preparation Peace Corps, right?
Yes, sir.
Talk to us about that.
Right now, I am going through the Peace Corps prep program. So basically, I'm taking what I've learned through my study abroad, as well as being involved in the 4-H club and other elements, the requirements for Peace Corps prep, so that I can prepare for, hopefully, being able to be a volunteer after I graduate in the Peace Corps.
Okay, volunteer. What caused you a desire to be a volunteer in the Peace Corps?
Well, I looked at different positions on their website, and I found youth development volunteering, and I feel like all of the things that are required to do that fits me naturally. My personality, my interests, using my major, my journalism skills, I can combine all of those things to really give back and be an ambassador for the United States. So.
And it also adds to your educational experience, right?
It does.
Now, any particular area of the world you desire to work in?
Hopefully, right now I'm looking at the Dominican Republic as my #1 choice.
Have you studied Spanish?
I have taken 2 semesters of Spanish here.
I see. You know that's their native language, right?
Right.
You, Senorita Tiki Winston, did her study there, and she speaks Spanish well.
Yeah.
So, español es muy importante, ¿verdad? Huh?
Sí.
Right. Okay, we have 1 minute, and you can wrap up by talking to your fellow students. Use that mic where the young man is. What do you want to tell them about how you feel about what
Studying
you're
abroad.
involved in? Yes.
Okay. I would encourage all students to study abroad. It's a whole other level of learning that you don't get in the classroom. You're actually there experiencing, hearing, seeing, smelling everything. You're engulfed in culture, and I would definitely encourage all students to be a part of study abroad programs if they can.
Is it limited as far as the number of students could be in these programs?
Not that I know of.
Not that you know of? We'll ask Dr.
Dr.
about
Moore,
that,
right?
Okay. All
Makes
right, we're
sense.
going to stop here. Glad to have had you, young lady.
No problem.
And you keep the faith.
Yes, sir.
You feel it from the moment you enter our campus. It's a legacy of greatness. We are the Golden Lion family, committed to innovation and truth. We all come from different places, but now call the Pride Lands home. Whether it's the sciences, arts, or business, we're shaping the minds that one day will reshape the world. The University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. Become a part of the Pride.
Are your children in the right car seat for their age and size? Is the seat supposed to be forward-facing or rear-facing? Did they move to a booster seat too soon? It may be too late to check when you're on the road. Fortunately, you're on the couch. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Don't think you know. Know you know.
Those who have just joined us, I'm Dr. Anthony Hobbs, host of this educational program called The School Without Walls. My guest at this time is a student here at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, Alyssa, Alyssa Smith. She's a political science major, and you're a junior here, right?
Sophomore.
Sophomore? Mm-hmm. Okay, you're a sophomore here at the University of Arkansas. And I understand that you have visited China.
Yes, Beijing.
Beijing. Tell us a little bit about that.
Beijing is a really big city, so I wasn't accustomed to it. A lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Sort of crowded, eh?
Very crowded, mm-hmm. but I enjoyed it a lot.
Mm-hmm. Now, what did you do there?
For 2 months, I was in an intensive language school, so I was studying Chinese.
Studying the Chinese language?
Mm-hmm.
How well did you do as far as you were concerned? Did you learn something you can share with us?
Well,
like
I got an A in the class.
How are you? You got an A in the class. Let me hear you say something in Chinese.
Ni hao, wo jiao Alyssa, wo shi da shui sheng at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff.
Now, tell us what you said.
Hi, I'm Alyssa Smith. I'm a university student here at the University of Arkansas.
Now, I'll talk to you Spanish. I want you to say the same thing in Spanish for me.
Hola, mi nombre es Alyssa. Soy una estudiante at la Universidad.
Give her a hand. That's all right. That's all right. That's all right. You're gonna be a linguist someday.
I hope so.
Okay. Tell us more about your venture in China. Did you visit the countryside, or you stayed within the city?
I pretty much stayed within the city. I did go to Hong Kong, but that was on my own excursion. We went to the Great Wall and saw some of the UNESCO sites, so it was really cool to me.
Describe the wall for us. It's like width. I understand it's large enough to drive a vehicle on top of the wall, isn't it?
Yes, it is, and it's very steep. I wasn't expecting it to be that difficult, but it was really hard.
About how tall is the wall? Do you have an idea?
I'm not sure, but I only got to about the 10th checkpoint, I guess, and I could see a lot of the other city.
You got on the wall or went near the wall?
On the wall. I climbed up the wall.
You climbed up the wall. That's steps, right? So that means you had to go up several flights of steps.
Several flights of steps.
So it's pretty high.
It is pretty high.
In other words, it's difficult to jump up on it. Nobody can jump and get up.
Nobody can jump and get up there.
Okay. I've read a lot about it. It's, what is it, about 1,100 miles long? You ever hear that?
I'm not really sure. I know it's very long, though.
Okay. Okay. How do you plan to, I understand you're going to spend a semester there if everything works well?
Yes, if everything goes right.
You know, once you finish the semester, you should be certified to do something relating to China. Will you?
Well, we don't have a course here that would allow me to further my studies in Chinese, but I feel like it would be a great asset for me in the future. If I want to do something with diplomacy or international relations, I would already have that connection with Beijing.
I see. In China. That would help you you'll be better acquainted with the customs and some knowledge of the language. And I guess you're aware that you can continue the language without having the language taught here. They have tapes and so forth, don't they, like in other languages?
They do.
So you might continue that. Anything else you want to tell us about your major, your political science major?
Yes, I'm not sure what I want to do, but I do know that I would probably like something with diplomacy or international relations because I like learning about other cultures and other people and how we relate to each other. That's why I want to go into Peace Corps prep after I graduate, or the Peace Corps. I think that when we all learn about each other, it will eliminate some of the prejudice and hate that we have for each other. And I just hope that one day I could be an example for everybody who says that, oh, you can't do this because you're a woman or because you're black or because this, that, and the other, that if I did it, then you can too.
That's excellent. Now, where are you from? Where did you grow up?
I was born in Pine Bluff, but I grew up in Little Rock.
Is that right? Another Arkansas girl that's doing well. We have 2 more minutes here. And anything else you want to say? What I'd like you to speak to the young people.
I just want to say that traveling abroad is something that I think everybody should do. It will test your limits, and it can be very hard, but the rewards are worth it. You'll meet so many good people, make so many connections, and learn something about yourself that you wouldn't learn just staying in one place. So I think everybody should do it, and there are ways to pay for it because my trip was basically free.
I have a question. I think we have enough time for it. Have you heard anybody say about what percentage of Americans are going abroad? It's a small number compared to the majority of people, right? Have you ever heard anybody say about what percentage?
I haven't.
Dr. Moore, I'm going to ask you that. I remember when I first went abroad about 40 years ago, only about, I think it was about 5% of Americans had gone abroad at that time. I'm sure it's larger now, but still, it's not a thing that the everyday person experiences, right? All right, nice to have had you with us.
Thank you.
And I wish you good luck.
Thank you.
And keep the faith. All right?
Okay.
Hey, you.
Yeah, you. Getting that college education? What are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job? Be like everybody else?
Or will you dare do something different?
Like, be a teacher.
Be my teacher.
Be my teacher. You could be my teacher. You got the skills.
The smarts?
Yes, you. You could be the teacher I never forget.
That'd be cool.
Does that corporate job even have recess?
We need more teachers.
We need more great teachers.
Teachers like you.
What are you gonna make of yourself?
What are you gonna make of me?
Those of you who have just joined us, I'm Dr. Anthony Hobbs, host of this educational program called The School Without Walls. My host is Dr. Pamela Moore, Associate Dean of Global Engagements and the Peace Corps Prep Program, Director of Office of International Programs and Studies, School of Agriculture, Fishery, and Human Services. She's here to conclude this aspect of the program. Before you start, I noticed from this little, what'd you call it, little booklet? I like Woodrow Wilson said, "You are not here merely to make a living. You are here in order to enable the world to live more amply, with greater vision, with a finer spirit of hope and achievement. You are here to enrich the world and to impoverish yourself if you forget
The errand.
the errand." That is excellent, isn't it?
Yes.
I think this is a good way to sort of terminate where you are in your program. So go right ahead and say whatever you would like to say about tell us.
Well, this quote captures the spirit of what we're trying to do with study abroad here at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. The traditional study abroad program is where you simply send students abroad for a semester and they're based at a university, and they're taking classes, pretty much doing what they would do here. Now, that's not really a bad experience, but I don't think it's the best way to prepare leaders for the future. One thing about it is that universities, when you're in a university environment, you're still in a somewhat elitist type situation.
So true.
And we really want our students to be exposed to persons from all walks of life. So that's why the service learning component, internships, cultural immersion, becoming fluent in a language, those are the skills that we're really emphasizing. And of course, it's far more expensive to spend a semester abroad than to spend a summer abroad. Currently, our programs range from 1 week to a maximum of 8 weeks. However, you just met and spoke with Alyssa, and Alyssa is planning to go back to China. She will be based at a university. However, she'll be in an intensive Chinese language program. And it's a little stressful dealing with the visa applications and trying to figure out, you know, how to work out course issues. But we think going through that experience prepares students for the level of engagement they will meet when they actually begin to live and work overseas. Are we almost out of time?
We have 1 minute.
1 minute,
so
okay.
You can conclude as whatever you want to say.
Okay, well, you'll have the opportunity to interact with Mrs. Winston. She is co-program director of our Peace Corps Prep program, and she's also director of the 4-H. That is a component of our overall leadership program.
And
so
she's coming up next, right?
Yes, yes. So you'll have a chance to flesh out some more aspects of what we're doing.
I see. Well, you're really doing an excellent job. And the program that you outlined was designed by you, I'm assuming, right? This change from the traditional.
Yes, we received a grant from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. We've been going through a lot of learning, interacting with faculty, staff, and students. But this combination, education abroad, Peace Corps Prep, 4-H, this is a unique way of organizing activities that will prepare UAPB students to be leaders of the future.
We got to stop on that. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.